forget his evil ways and learn to love us.
Absurdo. O que tá acontecendo, se você for ver, é uma puta de uma xenofobia fodida que todo mundo tem contra brasileiro. Porque você entra numa stream de qualquer campeonato internacional, você entra numa stream e a gente é macaco. A gente é fudido. Você entra num fórum do hltv.org, você, Brasil, você entra e você é um macaco dentro do fórum do hltv.org e nunca jogador lá de fora apareceu pra defender você. Nunca.
Hello everybody, hope we're all doing well. Welcome back to a very important episode here at Esports Talk, that being around the recent events in the CSGO scene. It's been hectic, it's been crazy. I understand that not everyone out there has properly worded both sides of all of this. I do not mean to offend anyone out there, especially when it comes time for the Brazilian fan base listening in right now. Let me stress a point right off the bat, and I'll give you guys my main issue with Gaules and what is going on with the MIBR versus Chaos, that being accusing Leaf of cheating, and a small portion, right? I highly doubt it's many of you guys watching out there, most of which it is certainly not, the small portion of a fan base of Gaules in the Brazilian scene who sent death threats to a 16-year-old. Let me preface this entire video, get this out of the way. People out there who send death threats or threats at all to any pro of any age, I do not approve of that. But the flip side of the coin is what Brazilians undergo in the scene as well, as what Gaules has now responded with, that being accusing many in the scene of xenophobia and targeting Brazilians and calling them terms such as monkeys and other worse racial slurs being used towards that side of the scene as well. I do not approve of that. I do not enjoy seeing those kind of comments, guys, and I never have ever entertained that is a good thing. And in fact, if you guys watch my videos, I have called out many of people, even pros themselves, for saying those kind of things. People who are racist, they suck. People who send death threats to players or anybody, they suck. Understand those two sides, and I think everyone watching this probably understands that. But I want to explain to you guys my issue with Gaules, why I called him out on Twitter, and you guys can explain your side. I understand there are going to be many people probably watching, many people probably disliking right away. That's fine. I don't care. If you guys want to hear my side, I want to hear your side, and my main issue with this is the continued joking. And that's the main, right off the rip. We don't know whether Gaules is joking or not. At least not everyone does know that. When we step back to the MIBR versus Chaos series, guys, I have sent these clips to my Brazilian friends, one of them being Gaules for translation as well. We have a guy like Gaules going to stream in front of hundreds of thousands of people and reviewing the clips time after time after time, and somewhat inferring that there is potentially something wrong with the way Leaf was playing. I understand that Gaules never said and directed his audience to go send him death threats or threats at all, but the fact is this, a small percentage of his gigantic fan base has done that, and he was well aware of that. That is my issue, guys. He was streaming this to hundreds of thousands of people, renaming his stream the Tribunal of Justice, and even if he is lightly inferring or joking about the fact that some pro player might be cheating, he knew afterwards, guys, everyone knew about this, the fact that Leaf had to private his Twitter, that a small portion of the Brazilian fan base, probably not you guys watching, but yes, the small percentage of people that did out there sent him threats and death threats to the point where he had to private his Twitter because of all of those things being said to a young 16-year-old pro. My main problem lies, and I'm not the only one who thinks this, I will show you guys several pro players who agree that what Gaules did just yesterday, even further citing what could be more people to go to Leaf and accuse him of cheating or threaten his life. I understand this was a simple tweet of a scoreboard, clearly showing Leaf underperforming. The main takeaway that I think a majority of people out there would say is, oh, Leaf is not performing very well now, that means, and again, Gaules could be joking, guys, I understand that, but what he is maybe inferring to some of his audience out there is that Leaf is now underperforming, that's why he showed the scoreboard. That means back in the Chaos vs MIBR series where Leaf was playing very well, that he was cheating. That's how a lot of people are going to take this, and Gaules, knowing after his first stream the small percentage of people who threaten the life of a 16-year-old pro, continues to make jokes about that, which could possibly also have his audience thinking that Leaf was still cheating, and further accusing a 16-year-old who's probably undergone a lot of trauma and scrutiny already. And a lot of you guys, I don't mean to offend you, do not understand what it's like to receive countless death threats and what it causes you up here mentally. That is my main issue. I understand that Gaules never directly said it, but with a power of an audience this large comes a great responsibility to know once you are done, and once we saw the first repercussions of him making that first stream in front of hundreds of thousands, he knew what Leaf had undergone, and then he continued to pry at that joke by taking to Twitter yesterday. That is my main issue. I agree. It sucks that a majority of Brazilian fans out there are not doing this, and they are being unfortunately represented by the small number of people who are doing it. But I think, in my opinion, it is the responsibility of Gaules to understand that with his large audience, there is going to be, even if it is 0.01% of people watching him, that's still a great handful of people to do these terrible things. He must be responsible with the way he handles himself and the way he has these kind of manners on social media. Now, the flip side of the coin, right, needs to be talked about, his response, which, by the way, even Zeus and other pros would agree, you cannot bring up one type of hate to reason and make okay the other type of hate. That being Gaules in his response, talking about xenophobia, talking about the targeting and racial slurs used against Brazilians, which I agree is a terrible, terrible thing. And what I meant, by the way, because for some reason I am being mentioned by hundreds of Brazilians out there because I deleted a tweet, because I'd rather put this in a video out there instead of 140 characters on Twitter. What I meant by the fact that his post had very little, I said zero relevance to the topic of Leaf, is because his thing bringing up these racial slurs being used against Brazilians, to me, has zero relevance to the people sending death threats to Leaf. I understand that type of hate sucks. It's a terrible thing. But to bring up one type of hate towards Brazilians does not right and make okay the hate and death threats being brought towards a 16-year-old Leaf. That's the point I was trying to make.
Nunca, nenhum comentarista, nenhuma personalidade, e nenhum, saca? Todo mundo assiste isso, passa um pano e ninguém faz nada. Só que de uma hora pra cá, os nossos números subiram. Nossa relevância, os campeonatos às vezes, ou alguém olha e fala assim, caralho, velho, da onde que surgiu?